Hi, I'm Robin the Generous Stitcher, and trying to listen to see if I hear a key in the lock, but I think my husband's shift doesn't end for another. Well, it ends, but he doesn't get home for another half hour. So try to film when he's not here, just because of unexpected noises. So. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone, and thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. I have not been watching as much Flosstube in the last few days. I've been trying to concentrate on my book clubs. I haven't even really been stitching that much. You know, to be blunt, since the election, some of us feel like we've lost our mojo and we don't feel like stitching. And I have some finishes that I will pop up on the screen that you saw as finished the last time I did a Flosstube. They're now fully finished, and I shipped them to North Carolina. And so I do have 2 whips, which I will show in a bit. So let me do a little introduction. It's Thanksgiving, and this is my Thanksgiving WIP Parade. And I wanted to talk first about Thanksgiving, and sorry, I'm looking down at my notepad, not up at the camera, and I never know where to look at with cell phones, because I don't do selfies and I don't look at the camera. Usually I'm looking through the camera to on the other side of the phone to something I'm taking a picture of, not taking a picture of myself. So anyway, Thanksgiving is pretty easy. We go spend time with my mother-in-law, and she lives in a retirement community, and they have a big dining hall. So she puts in an order for this many people and be seated at this time, and we go in, and it's all-you-can-eat buffet. And they have turkey, and I don't know, maybe I think they might have had some beef last year to go with the turkey. I definitely prefer that to pork because I'm allergic to pork. And sometimes I know it was Easter. Easter I went and I couldn't eat any meats because it was all things I was allergic to. So sometimes they'll have fish things that I can eat. If it's loaded with lemon, I can't do that. But anyway, so I've been thinking a lot about baking, and I want to make some homemade gingerbread, which I haven't done in a long time. And I'm going to be making, and I'll pop that up as a picture, in the 2024, I believe, Nashville Marketplace cookbook. Dirty Annie had a no-bake blueberry cream cheese pie, and you actually do need to bake a pie crust or buy a pre-done pie crust. I'll make my own. And so it's sort of like a cheesecake, and so that's what I'm going to make for the Sailor Mary Stitchers holiday potluck. I'm also going to make potato soup, which has cheddar and halal beef bacon, and it's delicious. I call it Pioneer potato soup because my dad got it back in like the 60s or 70s from an old prospector that he used to go elk hunting in Eastern Oregon with. So it's delicious. And so anyway, thinking of all this food and cooking, I went to Pensy's, and it was, I went to Pensy's to pick up my order, but I went on the website and ordered some stuff, and it said, do you want it to be shipped or store pickup? And I'm like, I can go to the store that's in Beaverton because I got book club the next week. I could make an excuse to go to Acorns and Threads, which I decided not to do, but I did go to book club. So before book club, I was able to pick it up. But it was so funny because I made this huge order, at least for me, multiple spices, and and, you know, and said, store pickup. And they called me less than an hour and said, it's ready. And I'm like, okay, but I won't be up to Beaverton. Like, Beaverton's like 40 minutes away from me. I'm like, I won't be up to Beaverton until Thanksgiving weekend. And then I remembered I had book club last week, so I got it a little earlier. But anyway, I'm going to just show off my Pensies haul. So thinking about all the baking I want to do, I was like, I think my nutmeg is about out. Maybe I have a small one. I couldn't remember, so I was like, I'm going to need nutmeg for baking. I got Ethiopian style pepper blend because I love Ethiopian food, and we don't live near an Ethiopian place to pick it up, and I can cook just about everything in my Ethiopian cookbooks except the injera. I can never get that quite right. Anise seeds, which I know I have star anise, and this is anise seeds from Spain and ground. And I thought, you know, maybe I'll make some. There's some Danish cookies I could throw them in. And then I got pure orange extract. This is like 61% alcohol. The reason I got this is that, gosh, 40 some years ago, in the newspaper there was a recipe for a pumpkin brandied cheesecake, and I do have a springform pan, and I figured out, and it hopelessly failed. When I mixed it together, it just was like soup, and I cooked it, it was just soup. And I found out later, you have to use, if you're gonna make some kind of a cream cheese thing, you have to use the full fat cream cheese. And I probably used the Neufachel, which is the third fat, low fat cream cheese, which you cannot use if you're baking these things, because then they will never gel, they'll never set up, and you'll just have like cream cheese soup, which is not what you want to eat. So anyway, I bought some spice blends that I had not heard about, although Southwest Seasoning, that's all good Mexican things. I actually have bottles of most of the things in here, but it was like, maybe I'll try it, like, you know, sprinkle it on something, burritos. Usually we make our own refried beans and stuff, when we put chipotle and chili powder and things like that directly. But this actually has ancho chili in it, which I have ancho chilies in the cupboard too. But Mitchell Street Steak Seasoning, I don't grill, I don't make meat. My husband's vegetarian. I usually purchase my steaks at a restaurant. But it's also, you could even use it on tofu or something. So, you know, Tsardust Memories, which is a Russian style seasoning. No idea. And Cedarburg seasoning. They have a lot of different regional, like Midwestern regional spice blends from different cities and neighborhoods, and so, you know, these kinds of things are good for, like, you're making roasted vegetables. I like roasting root vegetables, and so, you know, you take a packet of this, mix it with some olive oil, you know, blend your chopped up roots vegetables all together, and then put it in the oven, and it comes out, and it's new, it tastes different, and, you know, we've had some really good experiences with that. So, and then they gave me if I can get it, I don't know if it's gonna be, it says hug on it. So anyway, it's a little coin I found at the bottom of the bag when I brought it home. And then I had bought some gift cards for Christmas gifts if I need to give. I have a few others from previous years too in my Christmas box. So anyway, and today I joined a Fabric of the Month club. I signed up for Mystic Fabrics, darks. And I had seen this with Lori Stitching by the Shore, and I loved all the fabric she has shown from that dyer. And I was talking to some friends about it, like, you know, they have this Fabric of the Month club. I don't know how to sign up for it. And one of the people in Salem Mary Stitchers was like, I'm in that club. And so today she's like, here's the link. And sent me a text, and I was like getting on my computer right away. So she signed up for the light version, and I signed up for the dark version, and so we can, you know, get our things and then compare them. And she loves the colors too. So anyway, I'm going to stop this now so I can put away the spices. And it's Tuesday, my usual day. I'm running out of time to film. So what I'm going to do probably is film the rest of this the day after Thanksgiving, because then I won't have anybody in the house except for the cats. And I've got a bunch of different whips that I'm going to be showing, like stuff that you haven't seen since last February, I think, when I did my first WIP parade. So it's, yeah. And then all the new stuff I've started, and so yeah, it's a lot of stuff, and I'm like right on the edge of my table because I'm filming with my phone, and we got that new light fixture I showed in the last video. It's very bright. You can see my hair is a lot more blonder looking with the light glaring down on it, and my heads look so shiny. But anyway, so I had to kind of tilt myself, because if I film with the China Hutch as the backdrop, then there's going to be like glare behind me, glare in front of me. So anyway, I'm going to take a brief break, and then have the WIP parade things is the next part of my, and of course the finishes that I'll pop in this segment. So back in a few. All right, new technology. Well, same phone, but we got the new light in, and I had rearranged things, and then I realized the lights, I mean, this light above here is at stitching quality, so it's really bright. So I kind of dimmed it down just a teeny bit, so I wouldn't look so like in a spotlight. Not really sure that's that much dimmer, but I realized that if I dimmed it, then my face was shadowed, and I didn't like that. So still playing around with it. Okay, whips. This is the start of my 2024 Thanksgiving Day WIP Parade. It is Thanksgiving Day. Thank you for joining us, or joining me. Well, us, the kitties. They already came up here and played around the camera for a while. So I've only had 2 whips that I've worked on. You have seen the finishes that I've shipped off to North Carolina, and because they should be inserted at this point of the video. I'm still working on Totoro. Guess I could be around here. I'll do that. It's blocking my face. And I didn't get much farther, or any farther, except that I noticed that I had done some, I'd missed some stitches, because this is 2/2, and so this area of the umbrella, I realized I'd misstitched, so I unstitched it and restitched it. And, you know, I should work on that tomorrow. The next 2 days, I don't have anything to do. I'm off work tomorrow, and I am not busy on Saturday. And Mark actually got some shifts, so he's working on Friday. That's one of his normal days, but sometimes he does not work on the Friday after Thanksgiving, because they sort of run a skeleton crew. And so this year he was asked to be at the library, and so he's doing that, and which is fine. So I'm trying to get this thing in the project bag so it's not so crazed. Anyway, this is the giant project bag, and this design is so big that I actually need a second project bag to have the flosses that I'm not using in. And this has been challenging because some of these flosses I have not been using were used in the 12 Cats of Christmas ornaments. So I would be trying to find something, and then I'd be like, which project bag did it go in? Because I don't, being traditionally monogamous, I try not to have multiple skeins of flosses in multiple project bags, because until last year I never used a project bag, or I should say until, gosh, when did I start? I bought project bags like last November or December, and then I used them more for storage in the white dresser rather than an actual project. And get my little planners out, because I actually took stitching with me to my mother-in-law's, but I didn't do any. We ended up having really fun conversations about cats and books, and so I am still working on this. I got a little bit farther. Let me unfold it. Live and Die LA, 32 count Lugana, which is gorgeous. I love, my phone gives such better color approximations than the laptop. So I actually stitched on this last Saturday. I don't think I've stitched since last Saturday, but I went with a friend and we stitched at the Makerspace in Tualatin Library, the City of Tualatin Library, and the Makerspace Project of the Month Take and Make project, which they do every month. They do a take and make, was actually a cross stitch pattern of a snowflake, and I think I will enter it so you can see it. Anyway, what was funny about this is that I had stitched this leaf during the Thursday Sailor Mary Stitchers session, and I thought, oh, I'm done, okay. Well, then I started stitching this flower, and the flower was never right. It was always like mashing into some other, it wasn't even with the stem, it was mashing into other things, and I was like, what is the problem? And I started it and unstitched it like 3 times, and then I realized, oh, I had left out a row of these green stitches in this leaf, and so that was throwing off my count here. So I fixed it, and now it is accurate. So anyway, this is super easy to stitch, and fun, and some of the like, I think, yeah, maybe not this one, maybe this one. Anyway, there's some DMCs that are used in this one that are also used in the Totoro piece. So again, I've got to kind of keep these 2 project bags next to each other so I can find what I'm looking for when I'm stitching one versus the other. All right, I'm just going to stick them on the floor. So the, let me see, I put those in a different, I put these, so I have my whips, and technically I also have 2 other whips that I haven't stitched on. This one is part of the Advent stitching I'm going to do, and this is, oops, flip it over the right way. It's Cardinal Biscornu from Tiny Modernist, and it's not the first Biscornu that I bought, but it's the first one I started, and it is on an opalescent, I believe this is also an even weave. I can't remember the count, looking to see if the tag's in here. And I don't see the tag from this, but I will find it eventually. And so, and I've shown this before. So I had started this at the beginning of November, the first Saturday in November, and that's as far as I got. And I started to do the border on this, and my friends in my stitch group, who are much more experienced stitchers than I, even though I've been stitching 25 years, some of these people are way more experienced. They've done biscornus, they've done needlework or needlepoint, they knit, they crochet, so they do a lot of stuff that I've never attempted. And they were like, oh no, Robin, do not do the border, the backstitch border first. Don't ever do that on biscornu. Do the biscornu pattern and then stitch around, because you don't want to have to count those back stitches. And you know, this is like, okay, imagine counting each of these back stitches. No, that's scary. It's ridiculous. So rookie mistake. All right, let me put this back in because I have a counting pin in this and I don't want to poke myself because I don't want to bleed on my fabric. So that's going in the advent stitch. I'm not going to show the 3 additional advent stitch pieces. I'm going to toss this now across to the other table. I'm not going to do the I'm not going to show the things I'm going to start with the advent stitch because I did that in my last video, and which was the first video of November. And so anyway, I will have 3 starts to show in my next video. Well, maybe not in the next video. I'll have 1 to show in the next video because it's an advent stitch. So I've got 5 weeks that I'm doing 1 different thing per week. And as you'll notice, I did not get these wrapped last Thursday, the 21st, when we did that wrapping party for the Salem Mary Stitchers, because me being kind of the absent-minded person that I can be, I forgot them. And there was traffic and there was construction, like in the neighborhood where I was at my friend's house. So I was like, I ain't gonna drive back. And I actually called Mark up because he was still working. I said, would you mind stopping at home, picking up these 5 project bags and bringing them down to Kaiser, where the stitch group was? And he's like, I'm too tired. And I'm like, okay, I kind of expected that because it's the end of his day. But what I've decided to do with these bags is what I will do, either I'll ignore and I'll just pick whichever one I want to work on each week, or I will put a number on each bag, and then I'll roll a 6-sided dice, and you know, I'll have 5 chances to get one of these bags. Or I will have, and if it's a 6, I'll just re-roll. And so I think that will randomize things. So even though I can see what these are, I will still have, you know, and if I get the same number more than once, I'll re-roll until I get a new number, because I want to give each of these a touch during the week that I have assigned to them. So this is a it's like grapes, a cluster of grapes. It's a lot of confetti, and this I got from my friend Tammy at Woodland Stitching Studio. This is something that she was doing for herself. She got tired of it and she gave it away on her Flosstube. Now, and it's all, you know, it's all kitted up with the flosses, you know, the patterns here, everything's here. So I said, well, it's, you know, and it's almost done, but it is a very confetti heavy piece. So now people may or may not think that, okay, I've never stitched on this, so it can't really be one of my WIPs, but it is a work in progress. Even though I have not stitched on it, someone else has. and then I will stitch on it during one of the Advent weeks when I pick it out. And so, so I'm including it in my WIP parade for that reason, because it will soon be, it is a WIP, and it will soon be one of mine. And sorry, I kind of touched the project bag to the phone and it was jiggling a little bit. So trying to do this quickly because I know how much storage space I have on my phone. And so next is, get it. Have my nice cashmere sweater on, my favorite sweaters. So is this one next? Oh shoot, I grabbed the wrong box. Okay. I have this all on this long table. I'm at the end, so I'm gonna need to get up and walk around to get the right project bag, because I've got these in chronological order as to when I started them. So I will be showing what they are and telling the year I started it. And anyway, because my oldest WIP is 23 years old, and that's next. Hey, Willow, you're gonna knock something off, girl. Yes. Hi, Willow. Hi, Willow. She's lonely because, you know, we were at Thanksgiving all day, and so she did not get enough snuggles and pets and telling her she's beautiful. Yeah, she's a beautiful girl. She is. All right. So, and it's whips and cross stitch. So, Max, you two are gonna cause, Willow, you can't chew on the Mirabilia pattern. No, you can't. Okay, this may be difficult. I may have to start and stop this. Nope. Okay, yeah, she's trying to paw and eat the cross stitch. You are a stinker. You are my good girl. But you are spicy. You're a stinker. Yes. Okay, Max is getting bored because there's no room to walk around, so he just got down. Yes, good boy. Good boy. Okay, let me see if I can do this. Okay, I believe, oh, is this the one, or is it? Oh, no, this isn't the one. Looking at this, I kind of guesstimated on some of the years I started these. Oh, hey, I have the Griffin, but that's number 2. Oh, come on. I'm trying to be really, ow, Max, those claws are sharp. Okay, there's my own patterns, but where? Max, nobody. Digging deep enough. This is like archaeological cross stitch. There we go. There we go. Okay, she's gonna dive for this. Okay, so this is a Teresa Wentzler, and I'm maybe 40% done on it. I have the Teresa Wentzler Best Of book, which I can put in the comments if you're interested in that book. This is a dragon and castle. It is actually the cover shot of the book, and I will show that picture of that book. So I started this probably around 2001, maybe 2002. Next is, at one point I was in a Klingon group and we were doing security at Ren fairs, and I thought, oh, Ren fairs might be a place where I could sell cross stitch. What a fool I was. So I have this Griffin butt that I started that was Celtic, and Max is really trying to, okay, he got to where he wanted to be, which is on the windowsill. So this I started probably 2001-ish. I bought some like Celtic patterns. The thing is, when I destashed this summer, I got rid of them. So I don't think I've got the pattern to finish this, unfortunately. And I certainly didn't make a working copy. So I'm kind of stuck with that. And it's with Gentle Arts, I think. Yeah. So probably not a good choice for a towel, because you're washing the towel, and Gentle Arts, at least 20-year-old Gentle Arts, is not color safe. So I don't know what to do with that. You know, maybe somebody, if you can give me a comment, you can tell me what to do with it, because I just don't know. But it's like, I don't want to put it in the trash. I can't put it in Goodwill, because who would want to buy that at Goodwill? That would be a weird thing. So, all right, next is the thing I grabbed that was at the top. Oh boy, there's a needle, and it is not rusted yet. It should be. Hey, Willow is still ready to bite and get the cross stitch. Okay, so this is something from my own patterns that I've created. At the very start of the pattern, that would fit in this space if I ever finished it. Again, here's a needle, not rusted. Don't want Willow to bite that. All right, so that was the Dragons #1, Griffin Butts #2. Yes, I love you, Max. My own pattern was #3. Probably started around 2002. Max, get your butt out of the camera. And then, oh, now this next one, where did I put it? Okay. All right, so this box, this box still has one more pattern in it, so I need to put that in front, because eventually I'll need to get it again. Let me grab the other box. What was that noise? Oh, Willow just knocked something off. One sec. All right, where is that? Okay. All right. So, there's another thing that I bought that I think I talked about with Hall, but I went to Joann's and I bought like 200 plus, well, 200, I think. Hey, hold on. Willow, no. No, girl, no. She always wants to chew on these little tassel things, and this is like a bobby pin, so if she bit it, it could like pierce her mouth. That would not be good. All right, so this is WIP number 4, which I think I started around 2003. Like I say, I'm chronological moving forward. So this is a gold collection, Dimensions Gold Collection Petites. It is Kitten Reflections. I always call it Kittens and Koi. And so this is as far as I got on it. This is something that I was doing for me. Probably the first, besides my own pattern, this was probably the first pattern I did for myself. for fun for me, which you can see how far I got on it, in between gifts. And I keep it in a Oregon duck bag that my mom made for me. And I have all of this kit came with flosses that don't really match, a lot of DMCs, and I have, like, from another kit, other flosses that don't really match because, you know, I was raised by Depression era parents and grandparents and great grandparents that lived through the Great Depression, so I don't throw stuff away, at least if it can be used. And that's like, maybe I should for some of the flosses, or maybe I should do something like Michelle G does, where she takes the rest of her floss that she didn't finish and then randomly makes, you know, puts it in some other pattern, like some Quaker patterns she's used. I have wondered if I should do that, but I'm not sure what of my patterns I would do. All right, so that was number 4, Kittens and Koi. Now, this one is one that you've seen, not for a long time though. I used to keep all of my things in big plastic, like project boxes, and I like that because it keeps everything all together, and it's stiff so things don't get bent. But you know, when I started stitching socially and going to people's houses or going to my local needle shop to do stitching, then it was like, well, the boxes are bigger and they're bulky, and the project bags are a little bit easier to shove more than one into a tote bag that I would take to the shop or take to a retreat. So anyway, I've been planning this since 2003, working on it since, I don't know, 2005, 6, sometime. This is actually the first thing that I have ever attempted on linen, and so it is 2/2 with Gentle Arts, and Aunt Mabel is me, and that's as far as I've got on her. And then when I was showing this at Pinwis with all the different family members of mine as snow people, they were like, wow, you have a lot of blank space in there. Have you thought about putting trees in there? And that was a good idea. And I had, get all this stuff kind of folded up again. So then I had, and I don't have it in here, but I have shown, and I will show a picture of that. I have like a winter, like dawn watch or winter watch, that's like a figure of a deer, like at sunrise and under like different winter trees with some snow. And so I finished that for my sister, and so it's got all these wintry trees. So I thought, wow, I could copy those trees that are like, you know, deciduous, sort of silver bark. I could copy that onto this, and that would give some more structure. I could also take some tree, you know, just make some evergreen trees in the distance. You know, I have that Stitching in the Forest book by Pigeon, I forget the guy's name, Matt Pigeon maybe. I'll put that in the description again. So, I mean, there are tree patterns in that book that I could, you know, use in this piece to kind of give it a bit more structure in between the figures. And I have the original Mill Hill beads that go with this, because there are some beads. I think Aunt Mabel has beads in her bag, which I didn't really realize when I was doing this originally. When I started it 20 years ago, I certainly didn't. Well, Aunt Mabel I started like 18 years ago. I certainly didn't I sort of glossed over, ignored all the beads. And then later it was like, oh yeah, that's got beads in it. Do I have all those beads? Well, now I do. And have I done beading before? Now I have. So, maybe it's not such a bad thing to ignore projects for 20 years. So, anyway, all right, so I'll put this one down. That is One Snowman's Family that I started planning in 2003. I was definitely stitching on it by 2006. I met my husband in New Year's Eve 2007. So 2008, I showed him the different patterns, and I said, which one would you like to be? And he's going to be the Santa Claus snowman. So, which I have not started yet, which I need to start, when I get to it. And, we've been married. We dated for 5 years. We've been married for 12 and a half now. So I better get busy. Okay. So then finally, there was one more. I hope that's all there is. Yes. There was one more in this project box of mysteries where I pulled out the dragon and the mystery pattern of my own, which I think was the beginning of Glamis Castle, which no, not Glamis Castle. There was some statuary at Glamis, which I took a picture of. So it's this sad lion statuary that I took a picture of and converted with PCStitch into a cross stitch pattern. And my computer has since, lost the pattern, or at least Windows 11 has lost the pattern. I have a laptop with Windows 7 that maybe I should turn on that old laptop, see if I can get it booted up and get the laptop out of it. But anyway, so the final piece that I have in this old project box, let me see if I can find okay, yep, right there. Okay, so I was working on a dimensions kit that's, I think it's called Indian Peacock, and this is as far as I'm really bad about leaving the needles in, but it's not in the fabric, so it's not going to rust in there, right? So anyway, this is as far as I got on this kit, and I don't know if I'll ever get this one done. It is nice, but it's not one that I would necessarily want in my house. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe someday. I'm trying to mash everything in there. That's really helpful. Not. Okay. So, One Snowman's Family was number 5. Peacock was number 6 for the whips. Okay, now we get into stuff I've started after 2020. So, I've got a big pile down there. I got to watch I don't trip. Oh boy. Just pulled something in it. If the cats jump up there, they're going to fall. I hope they don't jump up there. So, okay. So the peacock I started around 2013, I believe. Maybe. It was before I moved to Salem, so 2013 was when I was working on 2014, I was working on the leprechaun tea towel for St. Patrick's Day for my friend Linda. And I have a picture of that. I'll show it. That piece was with metallic DMC And I got so angry with it, I threw it across the room and didn't pick up cross stitch for 3 years. And no, I don't know. Maybe I worked in the Peacock a little, but I know for at least 2 solid years I did not do cross stitch. I was like, you know, I'm a monogamous stitcher, so it's like, if I can't do this leprechaun piece, I ain't doing any piece. And so finally, finally, I got a new job. I moved to a new city, and I was like, and so my husband was still in the old city, finishing up his job before his job ended, and you know, and I don't. He had I think he had the TV still. Yeah, he had the TV. So I had my laptop, an empty house, and the cat that we had, Velveta, at the time. But that was you know, a few books that I brought with me. But so I needed things to do, and I was like, darn it, I'm a human being. That's cross stitch. It's a craft. It's an art. It's a tool. I'm smarter than any tool. Okay, that includes AI. Especially people, you are smarter than AI. AI can be really different and it could get smarter, but we got to keep control of this. So, and I'm not being paranoid. AI. Ugh. So, all right. So in 2016. I picked up and I finished the leprechaun tea towel and gave it to my friend for her birthday, and she was thrilled. And then, you know, fast forward, pandemic, and I started watching a lot of YouTube. I'd known YouTube existed, and you know, when I was a science teacher, occasionally I would kind of go through YouTube and find videos that I could show in my class to illustrate, you know, science and physics, climate change, biology, different things like that. So, or do it for my, you know, watch the YouTube video for myself, or go to Khan Academy for math. How do I explain this math, or how do I do this math, or how do I code? And so. Oh, it's in here. Okay, I was like looking. The box, the bag is all these floss skeins. But anyway, 22. I started watching YouTube more for fun and not for my jobs, and so I started watching floss tubes. And the first floss tubers that I watched were a lot of women in the Netherlands, which I thought was very cool. And so then I happened to run across, I don't know how I ran across, so I started watching American floss tubers, and then I started being exposed to new modern designers, and Tiny Modernist had a Sal, and it was Halloween themed, and let me see if I can get a picture of this, because all I have is pages and pages. Well, that's one picture. It's not going to be helpful. So I like the Tiny Modernist that I saw. Actually, I didn't see any of this. You know, this is like the first thing you get for this Sal. Maybe it was the second thing, because it's got all those flowers on it. But this is a crystal ball. And there was one thing I saw two things I saw in sort of a preview that I really liked. I really liked that skull, and I really liked this sort of retro cat. And this is like the full thing. I mean, this was, well, actually, this is not the full thing, because it's part 3. No, it is 3-part thing, because it was released like July, August, September, I think. So anyway, I like that, and you know, it looked simple. Let me tell you, the crystal ball part, I'm shocked that I never did more of that. I started at the top. So you can see, let me see, I can't see what I'm showing you, but I'm showing you, I started at the top, and you know, this cobblestone is not easy to stitch on when you're stitching with black. I'm just saying, you need better lighting than what I was depending on, which was natural lighting with my own eyes. And so anyway, I stitched on this in 2022 a little bit, and then I started, and I kept frogging it, and at one point I was like, I'm going to do a floss tube, and I was going to do like a tutorial and use this, and it's even weave and it's got rayon in it, so it was really slippery fabric, and it kept falling off my lap because I stitch in hand, and it kept falling off the table, and so I was like almost cursing on the camera because it was frustrating. And so anyway, I kitted up the extra floss. I had bobbins in here at one point. The bobbins have since shifted to other projects. But I left the extra skeins because this particular pattern says you're going to need 6 skeins of 310. You're going to need 3 skeins of 722, you know, for example. You're going to need a bunch of skeins of 3371, I think, is in there too. So, I mean, so I basically got a bunch of extra DMC for that. And so then when I bought project bags last year, I was like, okay, we need to put a few things that I want to stitch next, or that I need to like stitch on and finish, like this Sal, into this So Much to Love project bag with my favorite flowers, pansies. So Crystal Ball Tiny Modernist number 7, and I started that. I got it July 2022, and I started it sometime then. Yeah, because I had original floss tubes that I filmed in 2022, and the sound was all crap because we had window units of air conditioning in our house. So whenever I was trying to film this in July, August, and it was hot, so you couldn't hear a thing I was saying. And then there were times that the light was all weird. And the funny thing, I tried to do this, and I literally had an umbrella set up, so like it was blocking something, or the light, it was like reflecting back the light. I felt like, oh my gosh, this is almost like one of those like professional photographer with the umbrella things that they put up. It was crazy. That was like, okay, I can't film a floss tube in that rental house we were in. Just couldn't be done. I tried doing the kitchen, and then it was like overhead lights, and so there was weird shadows on things I was trying to film. Anyway, you would think I'd do a better job with my production values after all this experience of how not to do it. Oh well. Okay, so Crystal Ball number 7. Okay, now I can get into stuff that I've worked on more recently. And this is House Without a Cat, which you've seen a couple times this year because I have stitched on it a few times. House Without a Cat. This is a memorial piece for Velveta, who passed away in 2021. I started stitching this in August of 2023. I had a out-of-state work meeting, and I figured in the hotel room at night I could do color completion. And I did change up some of the grays in this pattern because I wanted them to match Velveta's silver gray fur. And so what I'm doing is a little bit different, and I have my changes on a Post-it note, which is really common because I change a ton of things, and then I hopefully have the Post-it note. Sometimes I don't, which is not good. So it is on a 28 count Summer Sky Joblin, and which I thought was a beautiful piece to stitch this on. And so as you can see, I did some color completion in the center of the pattern. I wanted to make it easy peasy, so I started in the center, although I feel like I'm gonna waste some fabric because when it gets done, I'm gonna have like a lot of fabric on the edges. And then I started some of the flowers around the head and neck of the cat. So, all right. Oh, and this is where, like, I was trying this oh, is it 415 and or 414 and 318. 318 I believe is also a floss that's required in the Totoro piece. So I was trying to find it and I was like, oh, wait a minute, it's one of these. So I had to like dig around in kits. This is why I prefer monogamous stitching, because then you don't have to dig around in your other works to cannibalize flosses to work on different things at different times. So I'm trying to very carefully put that in there because I do have a needle in it, and I'm going to put my pattern back in there. So cat with a house without a cat is number 8, started in August 2023. All right, I have a nice big pile there. All right, so then I also saw in my local needle shop Heart and Hand, which I'm sorry, I always get confused between Heart and Hand and Hands-on Design. And I think I have a Hands-on Design piece, but anyway, I thought this wee Santa was so cute because the flowers looked like quilt blocks. And I thought, oh, I could do that for my mom, who's, you know, a huge in-hand quilter. But I started working on it, and things did not go so well, and I frogged some pieces. So I haven't got, and I worked on this in the 2023 Pinwis. And what I messed up on, and I think I fixed it. Gosh, is that like, oh, I'm looking at it backwards. So, all right, so I got some of the flowers and flower stems started right over here. I think it was right over, yeah, right over here in this corner. And then I started his boot because the boot was something easy to stitch. And this is a Witchelt. Let's see how it's folded. Okay. Oops. There. Right. Sorry, I'm trying to fold it so it's not too awfully wrinkly. It's just going to be folded where it's folded. And I have, oh, here's some more bling from the Pinwis. That's where those things went. I was looking for some of that bling to put on my name tag. I didn't realize it went in here because I was trying to stitch this a little bit during Pinwis 2023, and I forget what the count is for this oops. Oh, I had that on because it was my little the piece of floss that I used for to know where my pattern started and stopped. So I forget the count of this, but it's really tight linen, and it's a neutral. It's a light neutral. It's not quite as light. And it's a little, just a teeny bit darker than it shows on this camera. But it just seemed hard to stitch on. And, you know, and I didn't think I had a magnifier. Maybe I did, but so it just seemed hard to stitch on, and it was certainly hard to stitch on in a social group because there were some counting situations I needed to do, and I didn't have much success counting. So that is We Santa 2023, started in September 2023, number 9 of the WIP Parade. And then, and in between all these things, I have been stitching gifts, and you've seen the gifts on my Flosstube. These are all the WIPs that are not done. Maybe I should have said that at the first outset of this, but and I'm gonna have to show the picture of this because right now it's just in a little bag with all the flosses and the fabric. And this was 2024 Acorn Gathering, and tons of people have finished this. Okay, that's as far as I've gotten. I did miscount the building while I was too distracted at the retreat, and I miscounted it, and then I had to frog it all and restart it. And this is something that I don't spend too much time working on. I will finish it one day. I enjoy it. I like it. This fabric I think is from the attic or in the attic. It's Fox and Rabbit. Fox and Rabbit were Karen and Brendan were the guest designers for the Acorn Gathering of Nuts for 2024. That was the second retreat I had ever gone to. And so I had way too much fun. Met a bunch of people, talked to people. Oh gosh, there's a whole bunch of, well, shoot, I should have sent these off. I should have sent these off to North Carolina. I didn't realize I had more needles. Oh, I have all sorts of stuff in here. That's where this went to. This is, my friend Cindy had these little acorns that, so this tells me I took this to Pinwis, and I think, did I take this to Pinwis? Anyway, there's like swag in here, so it's like stuff I got there at the time or got later. I don't remember, did I buy those needles at Gathering of Nuts? Anyway, I guess that retreat, it's special and it's kind of crazy, so maybe I'm just not remembering because I had so much fun. And anyway, it goes in a little bag which came at the retreat, and I'm signed up for the Gathering of Nuts for 2025. That's going to be a crazy weekend because that's also the Fan Expo in Portland, which is a big anime comic and, you know, horror and science fiction. And there's Willow again. Hey. Uh-oh. If I put this down here. Good, she didn't see it. So, all right. And Wee Santa's going to go over there. And, oh my goodness. There's a WIP I didn't put on here, and I should have. But when did I start it? This would have been... okay. It's going to be number 12 and number 13. Number 11 is going to be... something I really enjoyed stitching on, although it's prim and I didn't expect to enjoy stitching on it, was the first Plum Street that I've ever attempted, which is Winter Blessings. And sorry, the cats are playing right next to me. So this is on Atomic Ranch Vapors 28 count Lugana. So it's a little bigger than perhaps it was stitched on. And you can see I've done a lot of good stuff with the border. And I got a cat needle minder at Pinwist from one of my stitching friends. And I think Nan gave me that, but I'm not sure. And so trying to refold this so it's not so out of kilter here. Maybe I shouldn't have bothered. Anyway, Vapors is a white and gray model. Then the gray modeling on this 28 count is very light. If you get Vapors this year, the gray modeling is a lot darker. So I did not pick up a piece of it just because I thought it was a little bit overwhelming in terms of the modeling. But if it works for you, get it. You know, I love Atomic Ranch, and I love so many of their different colors. And you know, whenever I see it in a... Okay, I got like just a few minutes to film. I was on my very last WIP of the WIP Parade, and the phone said no more storage. So we are under the gun here. So I had 13 WIPs, okay? Number 11 was the Winter Blessings, Plum Street, that I started in May 2024. The Cardinal Biscornu was number 12, which I showed in part of the earlier WIPs. That was started in October 2024. The Grapes, sorry, Max is making noise. The Grapes, I have not put a stitch in it yet, so maybe it's not my WIP yet, but that would be number 13. And that would be the total number of WIPs that I have. So I had 17 starts last year, 11 finishes. I still am working on the Totoro piece, the Festive Forest piece, the Acorns from the Acorn Gathering piece, the Cardinal Biscornu, the Winter Blessing, and we'll be working on the Grapes before the end of the year. And I think that's it. And I'm, like I say, I'm under the gun, and I got this in the mail. It's my Jingle Ball Swan. I think it's got some like Mystic Swan or some special name. I'll figure it out. So when my friend Sharon saw that, she's like, "You really drank the Kool-Aid." So drinking the Kool-Aid would have been getting the matching pants. Okay, I thought about it. So that's my WIPs for 2024. Not going to get any of these done before the end of the year. And I will have 3 new starts in December during the Advent stitching. So can't think of anything else. Like I say, I'm trying to keep the storage down so I can get this transferred. Anyway, happy Thanksgiving. See you in December or the Jingle Ball. And thank you very much. Bye.